What is a 2-1 buy down or a 1-0 buy down, and how do you get it as a buyer when you're looking to buy a house? What's the benefit to you? Why is it important to get the seller to pay for it versus the lender paying for it? Although the lender paying for it is still a huge benefit for you. Okay, so a temporary rate buy down is not the same thing as an adjustable rate mortgage. Although there are a lot of adjustable rate mortgage products that I think a lot of people should be looking at, depending on where rates are at, because a lot of times they're locked in for 5, 7, 10 years. And the chances of you refinancing are very high. But a temporary rate buy down is essentially saying if it's a 1-0, it means for the first full 12 months of payments, you get 1% less on your interest rate. You qualify off whatever interest rate, but you get 1% less as your payment. So a lot of times I'm finding that people are saving anywhere from $200 to over $300 a month in their monthly payment with that 1-0 buy down. A 2-1 buy down would just mean 2% less for the first full 12 months of payments. And I say 12 months of payments because when you buy a house, like let's say someone closes right now, middle of May, their first payment would not be due until July 1st. So it's not, okay, I close now and now's when the time is starting for the 12 months. It's starting July 1st. So 12 months of payments. So a 2-1 buy down is 2% less the first full 12 months. Then it goes up to 1% less. So let's say your interest rate was, I don't know, I quoted someone today at 5.875. 5.875, it would be a payment of 3.875 for the first 12 months, which would probably be, depending on the price of the home, I would guess like high 300s, but more likely maybe $400 to $500 a month in savings. And then when that 12 months is up, so the next July, it will be 1% less. And then the next July, it goes back to and stays at that qualifying interest rate, the 5.875, like I quoted today. Now, here's my main thing is when you get a seller to pay for it, there is usually a calculator depending on your loan type and a few other factors in loan amount that determines how much that cost is. And there's a whole nother explanation as to what the cost really is. But usually it's anywhere from 1.8% of the loan amount to 2.2% as a cost. Now, you can have a seller pay for it. You can have a real estate agent pay for it. You can have a combination of both. Both of those options are great because let's say it's a $500,000 loan amount and the credit needs to be just, let's say for simplicity, 2%, so $10,000. That gets broken up over that. Let's say it's a 2-1 buy down, so 2%. If it's a 1-0 buy down, it's about, a little less than 1 to a little over 1%. So it's a 2-1 buy down and you get a credit from a seller. That $10,000, when you go to refinance your loan, so let's say 7 months from now, I want to refinance my loan, it gets prorated and, prorated over the 24-month period of time. And they take whatever remaining and they reduce it from what you owe, essentially making it so that when you go to refinance, it's like a no-cost refinance. That same $10,000 credit, if you were to use that to permanently buy down your rate, so let's say you bought down your rate 2 points, which is 2%. My problem and my thing with that is once you've spent that money, it's gone. So let's say you buy down your rate from 5.875 to, professionals are going to kill me here, but like 5.25. I'm just saying, and it costs 2 points. So 10 grand. If rates drop below that and I refinance in 7-8 months, although I was enjoying a payment at 5.25%, which isn't going to be the same $400 or even $300 a month in savings. I mean, everyone's loan amount's a little different. That money does not get prorated and sent back to you, although it can be a tax deduction. But I do believe if you refinance, it kind of loses that. I talked to a CPA about that. But this is where it's important that if you have a seller pay for it for the temporary rate buy down or an agent or a combination of both, it gets prorated and applied to your principal balance when you go to refinance. If you do a lender paid 1-0 or 2-1 buy down, it essentially the cost kind of gets built into the qualifying rate. It's usually not a big difference, but if someone you like the house, the payment's just a little bit more than what you want, and you're willing to bet that you're going to be able to refinance in the future, that's when I would do at least a lender paid 1.0 buy down if you cannot get a credit from a seller. One of our preferred lenders is offering free 1.0 buy downs. So although they're covering the cost, and when you go to refinance, you're not getting any credit back, it still isn't being built into the rate, if that makes sense. But I've had many people who built it into the rate, and when they went to refinance, because our commission is, one, it's significantly lower than national average commission rates on for mortgage lenders and mortgage brokers. But two, for our refinances, it's even lower because there's less hands touching the transaction. It can be a little bit easier, so we tend to lower our commission significantly. But what I tell people is, even if you do a 6, 7, 8 months from now, before that 1.0 buy down is up, refinance, get a lower payment, and at least you're going to enjoy a lower payment. So that's what a 2.1 and a 1.0 buy down is. I usually have people try to get a credit from the seller to cover most of their closing costs and then do the temporary rate buy down, but everyone's a little different. Some people are more monthly payment sensitive, and some people are more cash out of pocket sensitive. And so that's why I say, call me, let's go over options together, so we look at what's the best use of your money and fits your goals the best for you. And also, what market are you in based on the area you're in? I'm licensed in California, Colorado, Texas, Florida, and Michigan. California and Colorado, they tend to be a little bit more of a bidding war depending on where you're looking in both states. But that's if they're priced right. If they've been on the market for a little while, you have more room for negotiations. I just had a client on an FHA loan get their offer accepted with a 4% credit. So we used about 1.5% to 2% to cover all of their closing costs, and then the other 2%, or I think it was a little over, for the 2.1 buy down. So no money out of pocket other than their down payment, and they get the 2.1 buy down. So if you want to talk over those options with me, feel free to set up a time to talk.